Good day, everyone, and to our subject instructor, Mrs. Juliet G. Foliado. By the way, I am Nerdy Torres Diget of Visit 1A English. And for today, our group consisting of Rudelin Cabello, Nika Dua, Kelso Duero, Christine Gurial, and Kim Guan will discuss about argument adjunct structure and representing phrases and clauses via X-bar model. I hope you will learn. To start off, let us know first, what does an argument mean? History of argument linguistics. The notion of argument structure was first conceived in the 1980s by researchers working in the government binding framework to help address controversies about arguments. It is a descendant of transformational grammar from the 1960s in subcategorization. This recognized that a lexical argument is in relation to the predicate-taking properties that drive the overall meaning of the sentence. The use of this became more widespread as researchers had begun to share the theory orientation to the very people whom first introduced the term. This emphasizes the research on argument structure that would later create works and articles on the topic in the 1980s and 1990s. So, what is an argument? An argument is an expression that helps complete the meaning of a predicate. The word argument in linguistics does not have the same meaning as that word in common usage. When used in relation to grammar and writing, an argument is any expression or syntactic element in a sentence that serves to complete the meaning of the verb. In other words, it expands on what's being expressed by the verb and is not a term that implies controversy, as common usage does. Grammatical functions in argument. In English, a verb typically requires from 1 to 3 arguments. The number of arguments required by a verb is the valency of that verb. In addition to the predicate and its arguments, a sentence may contain optional elements called adjuncts. According to Kenneth L. Hale and Samuel J. Kaiser in 2002, Prolegomena to a Theory of Argument Structure, an argument structure is determined by properties of lexical items, in particular by the syntactic configurations in which they must appear. So, what is predicate? The predicate is the part of a sentence or clause that tells us what the subject does or is. To put it another way, the predicate is everything that is not the subject. So these are the following examples. In each example below, the predicate is being underlined. The subject of the sentence are not. So in sentence number 1, Elvis lives. So the lives is the predicate and Elvis is the subject. For the second example is Adam lives in Bangor. So the underlined words are lives in Bangor, which means that is the predicate. Adam is the subject. For example number 3, the telegram contained exciting news. So the telegram is the subject of the sentence, while contained exciting news are the predicates. For example number 4, the girls in our office are experienced instructors. So the girl in our office are the subject and our experienced instructors are the predicate. When we are talking about predicates, it is any word or sequence of words which in a given single sense can function as the predicator of a sentence, while those which attribute to them properties, processes, actions, relations, or states are called predicates. So arguments is referring expression of predicates. For example, the gold watch lost. Lost is the predicate, and the gold watch is an argument. For the second example is my father sneezed. So, sneezed is the predicate, Then my father is the argument. Predicates and arguments. The sentence is Peter chased Mary. This sentence describes an event which can be described as chasing involving two individuals, Peter and Mary, related in a particular way. Specifically, Peter is the one doing the chasing and Mary is the one getting chased. The verb describes the character of the event and the two nouns refer to the participants in it. A word which functions as the verb does here we call a predicate, and words which function as the nouns do are called arguments. Verbs and arguments. The participants in an event denoted by the verb are the arguments of the verb. Some verbs require one argument, the subject. Some requires two arguments, the subject and object, and some require three arguments, which are the subject, indirect object, and direct object. Verbs are the glue that holds closest together. As elements that encode events, verbs are associated with a core set of semantic participants that take part in the event. Some of a verb's semantic participants, although not necessarily all, are mapped to rules that are syntactically relevant in the clause, such as subject or direct object. These are the arguments of the verb. For example, in the sentence, John kicked the ball. John and the ball are semantic participants of the verb, and kick, and they are also its core syntactic arguments, the subject and the direct object, respectively. Another semantic participant, the word foot, is also understood, but it is not an argument. Rather, it is incorporated directly into the meaning of the verb. The array of participants associated with verbs and other predicates, and how these participants are mapped to syntax, are the focus of the study of argument structure. According to Melissa Bowerman and Penelope Brown, Cross Linguistics Perspective on Argument Structure, Implications for Learnability 2008. And now let's proceed to the next topic to be discussed by Ms. Cobielo and Ms. Guriel.